Change doesn't always start when you want it to. Sometimes it waits for space. I love that all the personal development and life coach training I've done over the last 5 years is showing up in how I am learning to take care of my body. Because 5 years ago, my world was very, very full. I was taking care of a family during the global pandemic, trying to regulate my emotions while everybody was at home at the same time. On top of living in a house that we were quickly outgrowing, my marriage was in the worst spot that it has ever been. It got so bad that divorce was something that we were seriously considering. That was not a good place to be in when we're all in lockdown. It was a lot. And emotionally, I just did not have the capacity to work on releasing any weight. And not long after, I returned to full-time work and had to adjust to an entirely new routine. And once again, I didn't feel capable of focusing on my weight because there were lots of other things that I was managing and shifting with so fast in my life. And I'm sharing all of this so you understand an important thing. Real change starts when you have the capacity to say yes to it and then to follow through on the action steps. What I mean by that is you're not going to be able to say yes to something that you're looking at as a big, giant hurdle that is more energy, more effort than you have in your capacity to give. We all have limits and they're at different stages at different times. And what one person might look at in your life and go, that's not a big deal. You're like, this is a huge deal right now to me because that's where you're at. And so back then, I didn't even know what was wrong with my body. It was holding on to weight. I kept saying that it would just gain weight just by looking at food. All these things that I thought about myself were really hurting me in addition to my hormones being out of whack and just who knows what else was going on. I also found out later I had adrenal fatigue on top of all that. So even though I was eating well, nothing was shifting. And even though I was doing hot yoga on like pretty much a daily basis, nothing was changing. But that was as far as I could get at that point because I just couldn't take on like something else. I can actually remember looking at the keto diet and going, I don't understand this at all. Like my brain just like completely shut down. I never did figure out what keto is and how it would work. And so I never even gave it a try. And I was carrying so much already, not just physically, but emotionally, that my body and my whole spirit was like, no, no, I can't take on another thing. So figuring out for myself, I just didn't have the bandwidth for it. So like many other things at the time, I put my weight, I put my body care on the back burner. I just maintained the status quo, so to speak. Can you relate to this? And that's what I want to talk to you about today because I want to give you some encouragement. If you're not ready for the change yet, or it seems like insurmountable, it seems too huge, it feels overwhelming, if you just don't have the space, the time, the energy, the attention to give to it, to make the decisions and take action, I want you to know that you're not alone. I want you to know that that's okay because nobody's going to be able to make the decision except for you. So it has to come from inside you when you are ready. And trying to force yourself to get there, pressing yourself to get there, working out of sheer willpower to get there, you can press, but that's not going to last. You know that the grind it out is not the healthy place to come from. I'm not here to tell you that it's right or it's wrong to stay where you're at. That is not what you're ever going to hear me say. But the fact that you're listening to this message tells me that there is a part of you that wants something to change. Maybe what you need right now is simply to receive this message, to feel seen, to feel understood, to know that somebody else gets where you're at, and then slowly start to offer yourself that same compassion. Because 5 years ago, I wanted to release the weight. I had that desire, and I was doing hot yoga daily, but nothing was changing in my body. But I didn't stop because that was making me feel good in other ways. It was helping me move easier. I just liked it. I wanted to do it. And that was vital for me navigating so much of the external stress that was coming my way. Looking back now, I can see how full my plate was. My body was at capacity and I was carrying a lot of stress. And that was adding to that weight complication. I'll call it a complication that I couldn't release the weight. So any extra energy that I had didn't go to try and figuring it out, didn't go to extra types of workouts. It just went to taking care of myself, being able to meet my basic needs and take care of my family. Now, here I am with the benefit of years of coaching, emotional healing, learning how to hold space for myself. I can look back. But back then, I was so frustrated. I felt like I was feeling, and I also wasn't able to figure it out. So I was judging myself. I was feeling crushed. That's why I'm saying it's right now, if that's where you're at, it's about giving yourself compassion, not judgment. Because I wasn't ready yet. I didn't have the capacity to do it. There was no more bandwidth. Are you hearing this? Are you understanding what I'm saying? You have to be ready for the change that you want. Not just wanting it, but having the space to allow in something new, something different, to move forward in a different direction. So starting a new workout chain, changing eating habits, going to the doctor and getting tests done, like learning how to regulate your own emotions, learning how to manage your stress, all these different things, they take effort because it's changing something that you're doing currently in your life one way and learning how to do it a different way. That requires space or capacity in your life to be able to make that pivot. So here's what I want you to know. Only you can decide when it's the right time to focus on your health, whether that's emotionally, physically, or spiritually. Yes, other people might offer advice or opinions. You know that. And I've had some well-meaning people say things like, it's not good to carry that much weight. You really should do something about it. As if I didn't already know this. And as if I'm just completely unaware that there's 100 extra pounds on my body. Seriously, every single day I face this. Every day I'm fully aware of it. It has not gone unnoticed, trust me. But it hasn't always been within my capacity to deal with it. Does that make sense? And that's the truth of where I'm at. But this year, at the start of 2025, I sat down and I worked on my goals. And this year, I only set 3 goals. Very clear, very strong. And I wanted to be able to acknowledge at any point in the year, you could ask me what my goals are, and I would know what my 3 goals were. Because in the past, I've written huge long lists, and I can't even remember them all. So they don't all get done. 3 things I'm going to achieve this year. That's it. And one of them was the decision that I'm going all in on releasing 100 pounds. Without knowing how, I just set the goal. I didn't know how long it was going to take, but I committed to the goal that I am sticking it out until it's achieved. Because remember what I said, only you can do the work, which means only you can make the decision to get started. So take a moment and check in with yourself. Where are you in this journey? Maybe you want the change, but you're not yet ready to commit. That's okay. No judgment. Just acknowledge where you're at and get honest with your reasons without putting yourself under shame. Adding pressure or guilt is not going to lower your cortisol. It's not going to help regulate your adrenals, and it's definitely not going to move you closer to your goals. And all of this from personal experience, because adrenal fatigue is real. Hormone imbalance is real, and they've both wrecked my health in different ways and added to this weight complication. And now I'm in the process of nourishing my body back to a place where it feels safe enough to let go of the weight, safe enough to move without pressure, like bad pressure, like angry pressure. That might be your stage too, wanting it but not being ready yet. Or maybe you're at another stage where you're ready to say yes to yourself, but you're unclear on how to move forward. Maybe you're stuck in indecision. Maybe you're wavering and you're spinning in circles. My suggestion, make a decision. Don't wait for it to be perfect or to have to feel a certain way. Just commit to what you can do today instead of putting it off until you have it all figured out. And make sure that you also have a clear goal in mind. You got to know what you were working towards. And it should stretch you enough that there's a challenge there. It's going to push you out of your comfort zone, but it still needs to feel obtainable within your scope of reference. Like, I can imagine myself getting this. And the other stage that you might be in, so you might be not ready, you might be wavering. And the third stage you might be in is, yes, you are ready. You have a clear goal. You've started, but you're struggling to find your rhythm, like your success factors. You're facing a lot of challenge. Maybe obstacles are coming up, trying to get in your way, taking you away from hitting that goal. Friend, let me encourage you. This is actually supposed to happen because it's a part of us becoming who we need to be. If everything came so easy the moment we made a decision, we would have absolutely everything we wanted anytime in the world. But we'd also be really bored because it's the challenge that helps us grow. It's the struggle that molds us and shapes us and makes us stronger. We become the best version of ourselves when we go through obstacles and challenges. Right now, I'm walking through a big challenge at the 6-week mark of my journey. And in tomorrow's video, I'm going to tell you more about what I'm going through. What challenge, we'll call it that, challenge and obstacle I am going through right now. But just know this, I'm not giving up. I have my clear goal, I'm committed to reaching it, and I'm not putting a timeline on it. Because I know the alternative. If I don't go all in on myself, I will lose. I will lose strength. I will lose capability. I will lose capacity to keep moving forward. I will wither. I will make life harder on myself. And I don't want any of those things, friend. So what do you want? What are you ready to commit to? That's your clear goal. Set it and own it for yourself. And if you're feeling up to it, zero pressure. But if you feel up to it, drop your goal in the comment. I'd love to be able to cheer you on. Now, these are the questions for you to sit with, to think about as you become the best version of yourself, on and off the rebounder. Happy bouncing, friend, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.